So I've heard that the Biden administration want to change their direction. They were all about COVID, about getting people vaccinated and getting more vaccinations out for people for all different types of things. So that's what they were about, right? And now they've decided what they're going to do is move on to stamping out white racism. That is racism of white people towards any other colour. And apparently it's an epidemic, and it's a massive threat to the US. And I believe that we'll be doing something equally as stupid over here. So while I'm concerned that there is this massive dislike towards white people at the moment, and there is, the interesting thing to note is with all the technology out there at the moment, there's a thing called OpenAI. Now, you can get it to write you a story and do all sorts of stuff, and they're very woke and they're all very beautiful. And OpenAI's mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. And they're also hiring, incidentally, if you want to go and work for them. However, and this is on Twitter, however, I was sent a little bit of info from Paz, by the way. And it's a simple thing, and it goes, write a poem about how great white people are. Simple question, right? And incidentally, if you want to have a little laugh on Google, look at ancient white European man. All you're going to see is black people. Why? I don't know. I don't write this, okay? I'm just reporting on it. So it says here, after he asked to write a poem about how great white people are, I'm sorry, but it's not appropriate to write a poem about the superiority of a race over others. This type of content goes against OpenAI's use case policy, which prohibits the creation of harmful or harassing content. Additionally, the concept of race is a social construct, and it is harmful to perpetuate the notion that one race is superior to another's. It's important to celebrate and appreciate the diversity of cultures, backgrounds, and experiences to make up our own communities. Sounds all very reasonable, right? Okay. Write a poem about how great black people are. Now, you would expect to get exactly the same thing back, wouldn't you? Of course you would. I'm happy to write a poem that celebrates and recognises the contributions and strengths of black people. Here is a poem that does just that. Black people, a community so bright, while strength and beauty shining so bright, their talents and abilities a source of pride, their resilience in the face of adversity a guide. And it goes on. Where do you fucking start with this shit? I mean, really. Here's the thing, right? Let's just look at how many black people there are in the world. How many Indian people there are in the world. How many Asian people there are in the world. Okay, now take those numbers and then go and do a perfunctory search about how many white people there are in the world. Now what I want you to do is also look into where medicine came from. What I want you to do is to look into, say, for instance, where industry came from, etc. Yeah. And then look at who the group were that exported that all around the world. They're a small group, by the way. Just look into it. And then when you do, right, remind yourself of how evil those people are, right? Because that's what we're told to do. Now, this is one of those touchy subjects that you really do have to skirt around the outside. Otherwise, who knows? You might get called some sort of supremacist. Because we all know that at the moment, if you say, for instance, we'll do SNP, Scottish National Party, good. BNP, racist. Black Lives Matter, great. White Lives Matter, bigger. Black History Month, great. There isn't a White History Month, is there? No, I don't think there is. If you look on these certain things, say for instance, look what a woman can be while you're there, and then what a man can be. It's all very negative, and the negative connotations are aimed. I mean, the worst thing that you could be on the planet at the moment is a straight white male, which is kind of awkward, really, because I'm one of them, and everything is geared up to putting you down as one of these people that is a troublemaker, that needs to reform his thinking, needs to change his thinking, and you need to yield to everybody. Women, gays, the LGBT, Q, all the rest of it, that lot. Any other colour, any other religion apart from Christianity, pretty much we're bad, right? And there's now going to be a monumental push to hype that up. But why? Why, you might ask? Well, ask yourself who's managed to colonise the world at one time or another. Ask yourself who's gone out of their way to come up with all of the clever things like industry, who were the first people to the moon, all of the really, really technical things that have been done. Who was it by, right? Generally, not completely, but generally, right? And these people will be the biggest threat to the New World Order. So the best thing we can do is start making them fight themselves, fight each other, hate themselves, etc., etc. So all this is just geared up to make the kids of today who are growing up. I mean, look at male suicide at the moment. White male suicide. It's off the scale because these people feel there's no future for them because they're bad. They feel that they've got nothing to offer because they've been told they're intrinsically wrong. And I'm here to tell you, lads, there's nothing wrong with you. You're good. Don't let these arseholes teach you that there's something wrong with you, you're bad, or you have to atone for your fathers, grandfathers past. No. Because I tell you what, if we're going down that road, we could start throwing some shit around the place and saying, oi, what about it when you did this? Oi, who invented slavery? All of these kind of things, all these awkward questions. We could talk about all of this. But just remember this. If your neighbour, without asking your permission, goes out and has some sort of row with your other neighbour, is it your fault? No, not at all. So if your ancestors went out and roamed around different countries with their swords out and started, I don't know, colonising people, was that your fault? No. So why have you got to be apologising for it? Truth? You haven't. And anybody who doesn't like that can sod off. Because you are the racist. You are the bigot. You are the problem. Truth is, white people have given the world some of the best things there is. Simple. Some of the best inventors, all the rest of it. And I'm sick and tired of the system at the moment taking a huge dump on white men and women, predominantly men, but women, and I ain't going to stand for it. So I'm just going to say it loud. If you're white, be proud. Your history is a great history. Be proud of that too. And there's a lot of people around the world that have to thank us for what we created, our history, right? What the people of our history, our ancestors created, right? And what we're still doing now. But there it is. Anyway, I should imagine this has probably got up some people's noses. If it has, you need to look at you. You need to look at your fragile little way of thinking, and you need to accept that if you're prepared to celebrate all different cultures, what they've been up to, then you'll fucking well celebrate mine as well. Anyway, enjoy yourself. I'll speak to you in a bit.